It is 5 videos that you're watching that we have been seeing for just a short time, released by the Department of Defense. CNN's Barbara Starr was among the correspondents who were briefed on these videos. There's no audio, but what there are glimpses of Osama bin Laden, both as he wanted to be seen and as, in fact, he was when nobody was seeing him.
Yeah, perhaps he didn't want these images. However, one still questions, why would he have someone videotaping him looking very frail, watching the television, watching satellite images of how he was being conveyed around the world. This is part of that intelligence haul. The Department of Defense is now releasing just a portion of all that they had gathered at that compound of Osama bin Laden just barely a week ago when they killed him. They retrieved videotapes, they retrieved DVDs, as well as thumb drives. And today, there was a Pentagon briefing, invited about 50 journalists. Our Pentagon correspondent, Barbara Starr, was among them to hear about the significance of this intelligence and why they decided to reveal these videos, no audio, just images only.
And if you're just joining us, or even if you've seen these images before, because I've seen them a number of times, and we are still watching them with fascination, these are images taken inside the compound in Abbottabad, the compound that was raided a week ago. That's Osama bin Laden wearing what appears to be a knit cap, basically channel surfing from his remote hideout in Pakistan. Mostly, it would seem, from what the images reveal, looking at pictures of himself. Well, the CIA, the Defense Department has experts and analysts poring over this video right now. We have Peter Bergen, our own national security analyst, joining us. Peter, what do you make of these images?
Well, you know, it's sort of surprising, as you said, that there would be pictures of this weak and frail old man watching himself. But I think a bigger point to make about all this is that, you know, bin Laden has long very carefully tended his public image, starting, you know, arguably with his CNN interview that he gave to CNN back in 1997, which was a very carefully orchestrated, you know, sort of propaganda effort on their part, in the sense that they were reluctant to let us film him in sort of what in television circles we call B-roll. They just wanted pictures of him sort of sitting down, giving the interview. They wanted to control the interview in that sense, and of course, not much you can do about that when you're surrounded by a group of heavily armed men. And we also know, you know, I've interviewed people, television reporters from Al Jazeera, who told me that when they went to cover bin Laden before 9/11, his son was married to one of the leaders of Al Qaeda. One of the leaders of Al Qaeda's daughters was married to one of bin Laden's sons, and Al Jazeera filmed it. And bin Laden claimed a poem, and he asked to see the images of him declaiming the poem to the Al Jazeera correspondent, and then asked if the whole thing could be reshot. So this is a guy who carefully tended his public image. He said to Mullah Omar, the leader of the Taliban, 90% of my battle is conducted in the media. He took his media image very seriously. So it's fascinating to see him kind of looking at himself, how's he doing, and also, of course, his preparations for some of these propaganda videos. And the videos that have been recovered, I think the last 2 times we saw him on videotape were in 2004 and 2007. And I think these are the images we're seeing right now on the screen are essentially outtakes of the 2 most recent times that we saw him since 9/11 on video.
And one, we understand from our Barbara Starr, just may have been taken as early as last fall because there was a message that intelligence officials believe was targeting the U.S., but of course intelligence officials won't reveal what that message is. So at least one of those images that we're seeing just might be as recent as the fall. You know, on your point, Peter, when you talk about this is a man obsessed with his image, and while he was obsessed enough to watch himself being broadcast around the world, isn't it striking, isn't it perplexing why he would have an image like this, why someone would be videotaping him as frail, as disheveled as he looks there, channel surfing, as John put it?
Yeah, no, that is strange. But I mean, to go back to the interview that we did with him in 97, years later, and I'm pretty sure it was Nick Robertson and some other folks from CNN in a kind of Al-Qaeda was filming bin Laden. And Nick recovered those videotapes in Kandahar, or in the Kandahar area, after the fall of the Taliban. And so we now have images of the CNN crew shooting bin Laden. So the point is that the image we're seeing now of bin Laden watching, himself on television was probably, meant for internal consumption, not meant obviously for what's happening right now, which is global distribution. And Al-Qaeda, bin Laden's always had a sort of media advisor team. This is not a flattering image, as you say. But there have been people documenting him. The people in Al-Qaeda see him as a world historical figure. And it's kind of ironic, by the way. We were expecting an Osama bin Laden propaganda videotape in this time period because, of course, he would have prepared one knowing that he was going to die at some point. Instead, we get this behind-the-scenes material released by the U.S. government, which basically does not put him in a particularly flattering light.
Mm-hmm. National security analyst Peter Bergen, thanks so much for your time. Very fascinating.
A strange behind-the-scene glimpse of Osama bin Laden, dead 7 days ago after that U.S. raid, but now living on in the documents, in the DVDs, and in the intelligence that he left behind, and in these